the Samantha Marie podcast, where we talk about everything mental, spiritual, and physical wellness, because I'm on a journey to help you create a life that you truly love. And I'm so excited to have my friend Liz back. And she actually has not been on the Samantha Marie podcast yet. You were on Single Status podcast a couple times, but Liz and I have been ever since we started, ever since I started my podcast journey. Liz and I connected, and we've been like podcast besties for a while. And I'm just so excited to have you back. Thanks for being here.
I'm so excited for this rebrand. We both went through our rebrand and our life updates at the same time. So I am just so thankful that, our paths crossed and now we can continue to have these conversations. So thank you for having me.
Yes. And you're so right. So Liz and I are both going through like big life transitions. And you had a whole rebrand. And so both of us rebranded our podcast at the beginning of the year.
Literally.
And it was like we knew we were stepping into even more of a new season, which is so awesome.
We just didn't know what.
So before so tell us about your rebrand of your podcast and like your direction there.
Yeah, so it used to be Beauty Marks Podcast, which is really focused on like mental health healing. And I kind of felt like I was at the place where it was like, I've healed through a lot of stuff and now I'm ready to talk and expand more topics. Kind of like how you did, of like cultivating your best self in different areas of your life when it comes to like your mental health as well as like your business, your career, your community, your relationships. So it definitely evolved. So now it's the She Cultivates podcast. And so we're cultivating our best selves and community. And it's been going great. So I feel like when you're ready to, you feel yourself as you're like growing, right? And you're growing on your walk in every area that you're like ready for that next step. And I felt like that's where I was at. And I didn't know what that would look like, but this year has definitely, surprised me in a lot of good ways.
I love that. And I love that you bring so many people together, because that's something I like to talk about on the show a lot, is the importance of community. And there's something so special too about like that feminine energy and like being around like good women.
Yeah.
That it's like, it's necessary.
Yeah.
For every season of life. So I just love what you're doing and like the events that you put on and how you bring people together.
Thank you.
So cool.
Thank you. I think the community part is huge, because even like on our healing journey, on our growth, or on our personal walk, even on our Christian walk, like having that support, having those people that are like-minded, that are encouraging you, that are like, you're able just to share things that you're walking through so important. And even your friendship, like I have felt like that throughout our content creation podcast journey. Like it's been nice to have you as a place of like, we can talk about things and like, being in these new seasons. I know we like kind of had a pre catch up before this episode, and it was nice. I felt like, someone gets it, and that's, I think, the importance of community.
Yeah, you have been such a blessing in my life. And yes, there's like certain people that for certain seasons and different, it's like cool how we can connect with people on different, like you and I connect through like podcasting and social media, but also we've connected on a deeper like friendship level, which has been such a blessing. And our friendship probably started about like 2 years ago. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's been 2.5 years or something like that. And you and I like were walking through singleness together. So we would support each other through that, and through dating and times of not dating, and just like holding standards too, and like not, falling back into, like cycles from the past and stuff like that. So that's been, again, like such a blessing to have you, as even though we're in different states, I'm in Michigan, you're in Florida, we've been able to support each other on that. And so that's what we're going to talk about. It's wild because we had our rebrands, and then we've been rebranding our love life because we both recently just started seriously dating people, and now we're in relationships. And so we're going to talk a bit about like the ups and downs of that, and So yeah, tell us about like your situation. So you're seriously dating and like what's going on there? Give us the lowdown.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really talked about it, so this is like new. But yes, I have been dating someone for the past almost, yeah, like 5 months. But seriously dating, I like exclusively dating for probably like four because it was very early on that we went exclusive. So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, so it's been since January we connected, and kind of crazy how we even met because we had known multiple people before. Like, I don't know if you've heard about the string theory or something like that. It's called like how you're connected to someone and then it's like in the right time, then you might have
Come
passed them
together.
and then you come together, but it's like in the perfect timing, but you realize how many things were in the same time, or like you were
Connected.
maybe in the same room at the same time and you just didn't know or see each other until like the exact same time. So until it's the right time. And so I kind of felt yeah, the way that we met, he, dances salsa. We have a lot of the similar hobbies, like just a lot of similarities. And we started dating and like right away, it just kind of like has naturally flowed. And we just have consistently just grown, deeper and like grown together and, enjoy doing stuff together. And it's been awesome, like having that support and just coming from being single for like 4 years, going through a toxic relationship, which I have talked on my podcast about. It's definitely an adjustment, but it's been better than what I would have expected, you know?
Wow.
And so I know you shared last week about what's new with
Mm-hmm.
you. How has that looked like for you?
Yes, it has been a transition. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've been single for a little over 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so now transitioning from like seriously dating someone to now we're boyfriend and girlfriend. And
Mm-hmm.
I just feel really happy at this time because for the first time, and we were just talking about this before the
Mm-hmm.
episode, for the first time, it feels like my heart and my head and like my nervous system are
Mm-hmm.
aligned.
Yeah.
And even like my family and friends, that the people I really trust, they're
Mm-hmm.
like, they have peace about the
Yeah.
relationship,
Yeah.
which I haven't really had before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if someone was saying, like, oh, I'm on board, it's like you could tell in the back of your mind, like,
Yeah.
like, or like you're hiding things and stuff. And like
Mm-hmm.
with him, I'm like, feel like, yes, we're doing this and it
Mm-hmm.
just feels at peace. But
Yeah.
it's more just like we're just having fun and getting to
Mm-hmm.
know each other, and like the
Yeah.
dating process is really fun. Um and we have so much in common. But yeah, like things come up
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you deal with each other's past. Like you're learning
Mm-hmm.
about his past,
Mm-hmm.
you're sharing your past. So it's like you're going through this, okay, how can I show up in like the healthiest way,
Mm-hmm.
and like working through that, like healthy communication and
Yes.
not getting jealous or like
Mm-hmm.
not being overbearing at first, or
Mm-hmm.
it's like dating up front is a lot. It's a
Yes.
lot.
Yeah. No one really
um
tells you like how much, like, okay, once you get a man, like, and you actually like have like all the things that will come up and the things that you have to just put into practice, the things that you learn, right? Because it's like you've been
yeah.
single, you're like you have your standards, you have like your boundaries, but now it's really putting them into practice and not reverting back to like old patterns. So it's like when it comes to
Hmm.
when something bothers you, like speaking up, maybe before it's like I was scared to bring up stuff, and now it's like you're having those hard conversations and you're like regulating your own emotions. Like I was telling you earlier, like sometimes it's like, is it me or is it like they're doing something? And sometimes it's like being being wise to sit with yourself and be like, okay, this is not what they said. I'm just taking it that way because of my past. So how can I self-regulate and like be okay? Or maybe I should bring this up. So it's like fun, to date, to go on dates, to have all of that, but it also brings up a lot of things that when you're single, you don't really like deal with. Like when
Hmm.
you just kind of,
Hmm.
you're enjoying it, like you're like in your peace era and you're just like, like I'm good. And then now you're dating, you're confronted with the insecurities you may still have, or the hurts that you may still have, or like the things that can come up, which is very normal.
Yes, and you're so right. And you have been really open about on your podcast how you went through a toxic relationship. You had some childhood trauma that you went through, and so you took a while. You've been single what for 4 years? You
Yeah,
said.
like over 4 years.
Yep. So, and you did a ton of healing work, therapy. You've been really open about that. So, how have you been able to navigate now? Like, you have this man that seems to be like emotionally available for you, and it seems to be like a healthy situation. And um, like, how have you been navigating that? Like, not bringing your past into the relationship and the self regulation. Like, I guess, could you share a little more about that journey?
Yeah, it's kind of like sometimes I would get frustrated with myself because in the beginning it definitely was a slow burn, meaning it did go slow like for us, and it was really me honestly too because did have my guard up very very high in the beginning, where I just was so scared to get hurt. I like was like just like everything he would say, I would kind of like doubt it, I'm like really like but I honestly didn't know him. And so I felt like through those things, like I having my guard up in the beginning, I was like, yes, it was working. And he was so patient with me and so consistent with like trying to show me. Like he told me, he's like, I will show you with my actions, not my words. And I was like, okay, like I'm going to give it time. And so I think he was just very understanding. He would communicate and give me the space that I needed to feel comfortable before I then let him in to like, okay, now I can, now it's like, okay, now I'm ready for like another level, so I would call it like the levels of vulnerability. And so I think expressing like to him, like, hey, like, I have gone through this and I know it's not you, but like, I just don't want to get hurt. Or like, these are the thoughts that I have, like, these are the fears that I have, or the questions that I have for you about your past. And he was so willing and patient to like answer those questions and like navigate those things, And so I feel like for me, I needed someone that was very, like, that communicated well, that was patient with me, and that was very like affirming that they were interested in and into me. And I feel like that has helped me regulate and like calm myself down a little bit because he says something and he does it, So then I really can't go back and say he didn't do it because he did. And that shows me that I can like slowly trust him. So for me, I feel like it's taken some time, but that's because I was so guarded before. It's worked out better for me because I also learned to trust myself again through the relationship. And I think that sometimes it can be frustrating, you're feeling all these things and you're like, oh, like I should just feel like calm, like I want to be cool, like I don't want to feel anxious. But it's like you can't erase your past. Like all those things made you who you are today. But it's about not self-sabotaging or not letting those things self-sabotage a healthy relationship or that you become the toxic one in the relationship. So I would have moments to like call my mentor or my counselor and be like, okay, like this happened. Is it me? Like, should I bring this up? And it would like help me, they would help me navigate like, that's actually either your trauma or that's actually something that you should bring up to them. And I feel like not being so impulsive also helped me to navigate that with him so that I don't feel like I'm punishing him for something that he never did or like I'm bringing my past into something that it's not his fault. But also understanding that he does have to understand my what I come with. So we had those hard conversations of like, what was in your past? Like, what have you gone through? And it's not ignoring that. So it was like a mix of both. And I feel like that has helped me like just to feel more at ease and more at peace in the relationship.
I love that. And I love that these men that these men that we're dating, they can communicate and they're okay with communication and emotions. I think, and that's what you and I know were like, okay, we can't be in another relationship where emotionally someone isn't available. And I love hearing that. It sounds like your boyfriend is a safe space for you to like express your emotions and your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you're assessing yourself and saying, okay, is this valid or is it not?
Mm-hmm.
And like then coming to him in like a more mature way or self-aware way, to share and not like dump, because you know, like in our immaturity or in our past or in that's the relationships we were in before in unhealthy situations, it's like you just want to dump all your feelings like right away, and it's like, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like you and I have put in the work where we can sit, I think you said this before the episode, like we can sit in our like discomfort, because there's time. And I don't know, you've probably like studied the attachment styles, right?
Oh yeah, like the anxious. So before this relationship, I was very anxious attachment, and I feel like I became
Okay.
like an avoidant, and then I got to like the middle secure attachment. So I feel like now I'm a more
That's
of a
big.
secure attachment, but I do lean. I have the anxiety, about the
Yeah.
relationship. What about you?
I'm the same thing that you described.
Mm-hmm.
I've been anxious, but being in this relationship has made me more secure. And even before, all the work I put in
Yeah.
before has got me to be more secure in
Mm-hmm.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just helps having a consistent partner that is able to communicate and be empathetic
Yeah.
and emotionally available. It makes me more secure.
Yeah.
But yes, like there are times in the early dating process where or just like in general, not the
Mm-hmm.
early dating process, in general, this is something I'm going to have to work on probably for a
Mm-hmm.
while, is that like tendency to go back to the anxious attachment.
Yeah.
And like you said, being able to sit with your emotions and like observe, is this me, is this him, like what's really happening here? And a lot of times it's really me in my head, like with something from my past.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like calming down, getting in my body, and then like looking at it from a different perspective, you know, or like bringing it to communicate with my person about that, you know.
Yeah, because you're so used to also like, at least in the past, I was very used to inconsistent high highs and low lows. Like
Yes.
very like we would get in a fight and then we wouldn't talk for like 3 to 5 days. So it was just not, and it was just not stable. So I feel like even that anxiety can come up when you're like, okay, if I say this, well, they get mad at me and then they're not gonna like, or they're gonna think I'm like crazy, so then I shouldn't bring it up. When it's like, no, like that person is telling you that they want to hear you, that they want to be there for you. So give them that chance to. And you kind of assess and see. And other things, it's like, it's not always going to feel like the high, which I feel like also I was used to guys being like obsessed. And that's not what I got from my boyfriend. He was now I know that he was really into me, like very, very seriously. But I feel like in the beginning, he was kind of like nonchalant about it. Like, I'm into you, but I'm not obsessed with you. And I was not used to that. So then it made me kind of like get that anxiety. Like, are you into me? But like, why aren't you like texting me like 24/7, because that's what I was used to. I was used to love bombing. I was used to someone like lavish, things in the beginning. So that calmness was like changing my mindset when it came to like what a healthy communication or a relationship looks like, because I've never been in one. So it was like, wow, like I actually have to, it's okay that he doesn't text me 24/7 because he just met me, it's okay that, but he's scheduling dates with you and he's telling you like, I'm into you, like I want to be exclusive with you, like I'm only dating you. Like, so it's like through his actions and words together, that's what lowered the anxiety. So yeah, I don't know if you experienced that, because that was a hard part for me.
Yes, that is a transition, because I remember when my boyfriend and I talked for the first time and I gave him my number, like before, obviously we were dating, he texted me that day and asked me on a date. And the date wasn't until, like, that was on a Sunday, and the date wasn't until the next Saturday. And he didn't text me all week. And in my mind, I'm like, is something wrong? Is he going to cancel? Like, is he going to ghost me? Like, is he into me? I don't know. Maybe he's second guessing. And, but then I'm like, no, Samantha, like I was having conversations with myself. I'm like, if this man is interested, like, and if he's a good guy, like he probably just wants to get to know me in person.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we'll just see how, like, what happens. And so he texted me the night before the date and was like, hey, here's where we're going. Just want to make sure we're still on, like, see you tomorrow kind of thing. And I was like, okay, so we're good. But we talked about it a few days later after our first date. And I was like, yeah, I was actually surprised that you didn't text me before, but I figured it was for a purpose. And he's like, it was for a purpose because I didn't want to get to know you on text message. I wanted to talk to you in person.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's actually so sweet.
Yes. Cause that's like, they're not trying to like get to know you super quick through like just these transactions that are not as like, it's like a high that you can get from like, oh my God, we're on the phone for like 8 to 9 hours. Like but then they're not making they're not pursuing you in the way of like taking you out on dates. Like that's actually where the true connection does come, you know? Because sometimes, you know, we fall in love through like what we hear, like, you know, all of that. So it can be like a slippery slope, you know, if you're like obsessed with them, just like texting you, calling you all the time in the beginning when they don't know you, you know?
Yep.
So that is a big adjustment. And then also I feel like the thought of you just letting them lead, which is like you stepping back and being like, let him show you that he's interested in you. Let him show you that he wants to, versus you kind of putting yourself in a position where you're like, oh, like he's going to have to make plans with me now. You know, it's like, no, like let him pursue you. Because that helps you to be more in your feminine, to be more laid back. And that has been the biggest, I would say, game changer for me in this dating process. It's how in my feminine I am. Because I am naturally more masculine when it comes to like, you know, go-getter, high achieving, all of that. But when I tell you that, like, I'm like, who am I now? Because even when we go on dates, like he plans them. He's like, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is the time. Like, I'm going to pick you up. And before I would feel like I had to lead everything. And now it's like, I just feel relaxed. He's like, and he even told me earlier on in the relationship, he's like, I want you to just like worry about like what outfit you're going to wear. Like, that's it. Like, I don't want you to worry about the dates. Like, I will take care of that. Because I know you do that a lot for other areas. So, and I've seen how that's helped me to calm my nervous system, to not always feel like I have to lead everything. And I feel like that's really what a healthy relationship looks like, at least for me now. You know, and I've never had that. It's like, wow, like I can just relax. Like we went to the beach the other day, and before I would have like a list of like, okay, we have to leave at like 8 in the morning, and then at 8:30 we're gonna do this, and then at 9 we have to do this. And I didn't do that. And it was like we just went with the flow of the day and we had such a good time. And I'm like, wow, this is nice. Like everything worked out. It was good.
Mm-hmm. I love that for you. I love that so much because, you know, I know you have listened to a lot of podcasts and there's a lot of information out there, but when we take that on that role from a man, when we're trying to like control the dating situation and we're trying to lead, it kind of like cuts off their manhood a little bit and makes them not have or feel in their masculine, you know? So when we are able to like sit back and let them come to us and let them lead the way, it helps them like step into, okay, like she wants me to pursue her. And when we're affirming them, like, hey, I really enjoy my time with you. I love being around you. Like we're making it clear, like, I want this. Yeah. Like I want you around, you know, when we're giving that affirmation, but letting them lead, I think it helps them to be more confident, like in that process. And if he's not pursuing you, then that is a sign like he's not into you and that's not your man. Like move on to the next girl. You
Literally.
know?
That has been something also that I actually told my boyfriend this. I'm like, well, I feel like in the past, I really tried to convince myself that people were into me, but their actions and words were saying something else. But I just didn't. I wanted it to work so bad, and I just wanted to be in a relationship so bad that I like didn't pay attention to that. But guys will tell you, like, if they are interested in you, they will do the work and they will show you by their actions and words that they're into you. If they're always saying that they're busy, or like, oh, I'll see, or like just ghosting, or like not being consistent, or they tell you one thing but they do another, like that man is unfortunately not into you, you know? And I realized, I'm like, wow, this is how it feels like when someone's into you. Like, that's, you know, and I'm not saying that he's perfect at all. Like, I'm just saying more of like things that sometimes as women we kind of think are healthy, but it's like we're trying to convince ourselves because maybe we're lonely, maybe we're like we feel like the time is ticking, and so we're like, okay, like just any guy that gives me attention. And it's like, no, like stick to your standards, because there is a man that will see you for you and that will put in the work to pursue you.
Yeah, and it's I mean, we've lived by this for a while. It's better to be single than with the wrong person.
For sure.
And if we are constantly like striving, trying to convince someone to be with us, that's a sign that that's not the right relationship. We're not beggars.
Yeah.
We are amazing women of God, and we have great community, and we don't need to convince people to be with us. It will be clear if a man is like, I want her, I'm gonna go for her, I'm gonna pursue her.
And I think like even for you, and maybe you can share your part too of that, is I'm so glad that I did the work on myself in these past few years, because it's like I know what I want, I know my standards, and I know that my standards will push away the guys that are not for me. And I think in the beginning of their dating process with my boyfriend, I was very upfront about the things that I wanted and didn't want. And there were certain things that like I asked him and then he asked me, and it was like, okay, like this is like a non-negotiable for me. And I said it, and it was scary to be like, this is exactly where I stand. But then he was also very responsive to be like, actually, I love that about you. Like, actually, I agree with that. Actually, that's what I want out of my life and my future. And it was like, okay, like if this guy is going to be the one for me, like, and we're going to have this relationship, like I need to be straightforward and be honest with it. And I feel like that sets you up for such a better place. And I'm so glad. And I always like prayed about it and still do, you know, like it's like, I want what aligns with what God wants for me in my life. I don't want to make my own love story, you know? And so it's like being honest with myself and him, it's like, that's helped us like grow and be where we're at today, because it's like we know what we want. We've worked on some stuff. We've grown, and it's like now we want a serious relationship, and that's what we're striving for and dating for.
Yep. Yes, totally. And that's the same thing with my situation. Is it seems like things are just aligning. Like it seems just easy. Like in the past it was so hard. And with this situation, we are both at the age, and we've both been in serious relationships before, where it's like we know what we want, we know what we don't want, and we are like confident in the vision we have for our life, and kind of like what we're looking for and how we're dating with intention. And it's like an easy alignment where we're both being like vocal with each other and communicating things, and we're both like, yeah, like I want that too. And it just seems to be like easy. And of course, everyone has things that are different, and nothing's like perfect, but the overall like values and vision, when those things line up, it's like, okay, now we can grow from here, because that's the most important thing.
Yeah, because you're not trying to convince someone, you know, to like see things the way that you want to. It's like they do see the things the way, and I feel the same. It's like it does feel easy in the way of like we're able like to have conversations, right, or discussions, and then we're good. Like it's like, okay, they don't linger. It's not like we're going to break up because we have this hard conversation. It's like actually it's going to draw us closer. You know, like we have fun together. Like we're enjoying. We want to see each other. We want to make plans for like, you know, for the future, you know? So it's like, that's exciting, because when you know that someone's like in it, you know, with you.
Yeah. And Lewis House, I follow him a lot, like the School of Greatness. him and his wife now, they always talk about how when you're dating someone, you shouldn't be trying to change them.
Yeah.
You're learning about each other to say, like, can we spend our life together? So when your like core values align, and if they don't align, then that's a sign like, hey, this probably isn't the relationship for me. But even when the core values align and you choose like, okay, this is someone that I really see my life, this is someone I really see like a future with, or I could see myself being with, like having a family with or whatever. Then you can say with like some of the smaller things that might not be totally aligned, you can give that person space to say like, I'm not trying to change you. Like if you never change, like would I be okay with this?
Yeah.
But knowing too that like when you're in a relationship with someone else, you are going to naturally change.
Yeah.
And you are going to naturally like uh grow and evolve and like get better in different ways. And like you can be patient in some areas if like everything's not like nothing's gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
So it's okay to look back and say like, okay, what are some things that maybe are like different, that maybe are kind of like not what I'm used to, but I'm okay with, and I'm not expecting him to change. I'm not expecting him to be perfect, and I can live with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're working, because ultimately we're all imperfect human beings, right? And it's like,
Right.
I think before when I had like my list of like, I had my list of non-negotiables and I stuck to that, but there's other things that like he has that are actually like, wow, like I never even thought about like that, in a man, but that's actually so great. Or there's other things that like he has that it's like it's part of things that he's working on, but I know that he's aware of them and he's working on them, and so those are things that we're working on together. Just like with me, like I'm still working and growing because, when I was single, like I worked on myself as much as I could, but now this person that's like showing you areas that you still have to improve, and I think that's a part of a good relationship is when you're growing together, like you're able to, they're able to tell you things too of like, I see this in you, in a good or bad way. And you guys can just have like a healthier way to navigate things versus maybe in the past.
Definitely. Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of finding someone you really align with and like stepping into that like relationship stage, because in like a healthy situation, you can start calling like the gold out in each other that maybe other people aren't telling you, or not that we need other people to validate us, but like there's something about in like a romantic situation or like that friendship you're building when they start calling things out in you that maybe you like didn't realize or you lost. It's like that alone, you start to just be challenged to like grow in ways that you weren't when you were single.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So what do you think has been like the best thing you did while you were single to prepare for the situation you're in now?
I know for sure working on myself, like through my therapy, like was life changing. I'm so glad that I did that. And also just like being happy with myself, because I think I used to be, when I got out of my past relationship where I had lost myself, I didn't feel confident about myself. And I kind of, my whole world was around this person. And so I think through singlehood, like I, found a hobby I loved. I, cultivated really deep friendships. I traveled alone. Like I traveled, I did stuff. Like I just feel like I had a full life. And I know I knew I always wanted a relationship, and I knew that I always wanted to be with someone, and to be in a healthy relationship. I just didn't know when that was going to happen. But it's like I'm so glad that I did the work, because now I'm able to see the fruit of that. Because before, or even when things come up of like, for example, like I just went on a trip with my friends, right, for like her bachelorette, and we were there and we were enjoying it, and it's like that's part of my full life. Like this man is great, and I really care for him and all of that, but like I still get to do things with my friends. I still have like my hobbies. I still have things that I'm working on myself. and my projects with my business. And so it's like, I'm not stopping that because now I'm in a relationship. And I feel like before I would give up everything because I was in a relationship. And so I'm like, I'm so glad that I got to do the things that I did before, and I like worked on those things so that I can be like a healthier partner, you know, and like a best, like a better partner, like how I'm trying to be today.
And it's a whole different experience when you enter in a relationship, when you're like, I love myself, I have hobbies, I have passions, I have things I'm pursuing.
Yeah.
And then kind of like coming together with someone
Mm-hmm.
from that. So tell us a little more about that.
About like coming together in the relationship, or what do you mean?
Like dating from a place of like wholeness.
Mm. Yeah, it feels different. You know, I had my 5-year podcast event here in Orlando, and he went, you know, and it was like the first time him seeing really me in action, and I just felt like such a good feeling because I was like, wow, like this is like my healed version of myself. Like I know if maybe he met me 5 years ago, this maybe it would have never worked because of who I was. But I'm so glad that, you know, I've been able to navigate my own traumas, like heal through those things, like, you know, cultivate things that I love, like work on my business, like start my podcast, like stuff that came out of like my pain and the hard parts of my life. So that now it's like, this is who I am, you know, and he's seeing this and he's like, I love that part of you, you know? So like after the event, it was so nice because we went out to dinner and he's like, I'm so proud of you. Like, this is amazing what you're doing. Like, it was so nice to like see you do your thing. And it was like, wow, like I'm actually living in what I once wanted, you know, for myself. But now I get to have someone supporting me, you know, emotionally and like cheering me on, you know, and sees this as like such a great thing that I'm doing. And lets me be me, you know? So I think just dating now has just felt like healing, you know, like certain situations that we've gone through or certain conversations, I feel like has helped me heal also. Because I'm like, wow, like he's still here. Like he, you know, he knows my trauma. He knows things that bother me. He knows I can be anxious sometimes or overthinking, but he's very patient with me and he's very understanding, you know, and he's helping me be better, like become better, you know, and I think that's a green flag for me that I've been able to, you know, have that because it's so nice. Like I loved my single season. Like I'm going to be so honest, and I even told him like on a on a first date, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to come off like a feminist, you know. I'm just saying that like I personally enjoy being single. Like I've really built my life in a way that it's like I love my life. It would be nice to do it with a partner, but ultimately, like I'm okay by myself, and I feel like that's such a powerful place to be because I was at the other side before, and I was like, so just know if you're in my life, it's because like I want you to be in my life, you know. And he's like, no, like I love that and I respect that and I love that you've done that for yourself. I was like, but I do, then in my feminine, I was like, but I do want to be in a relationship with you. Like, I do want to have you in my life. Like, I love having him at my events. I love, you know, going to church with him and like doing family things for the holidays. Like, I love this part, but I'm also like, loved that I did all of that for myself. And I truly loved being single, you know? And now it's just a transition.
Yes.
Now, like, I love being in a relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is so beautiful because when you can build that wholeness on your own, or you can feel whole like with God and with your community and with yourself because you love yourself and you work on healing and everything. There's something about the fact that you're not going to settle. Like you're going to wait for the right person. So it almost like means more, like when it does mean more.
Yeah.
Because when you enter into a relationship, it's like, okay, like I see you and like you actually are like adding value to my life and I can add value to yours. Like it's a and like you said, your boyfriend I think had been single for a while too, and it's like it's so nice when you know like you're choosing each other because you're adding value to each other's lives. And I think that's a really, really cool thing. It's not a taking away. And that's what like we waited for. That's what we wanted.
Yeah. And I think the adjustment too of like just knowing that in this healthy relationship, right? Like you're still learning, right, to be in it. At least for me, like I've never really been in a healthy relationship. It's all just head knowledge, like it's all just things that I read and stuff. But it's like practicing it out and just feeling like being patient with myself also to be like, okay, this is new. That's why it's scary. That's why the fear sometimes comes up of like, oh my God, am I going to get hurt, or the anxiety? But like trusting that you're making the right decision. You're not the same person from before. Like you're not dating, like if you see the red flags, you're going to go away now versus stay in them. You know, like you're just going to make better choices.
Right.
Even though, you know, like the goal is right to end in marriage and all of that. But it's like, it's just such a great investment to invest in yourself, because I just see how that has helped me like navigate, you know, how this is now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like you said earlier, it helps when you're actually in a relationship because it helps with that like anxiety too. Like when that other person is the source of everything for us, then like when they're busy or they're not around, it's like we're sitting around anxious because like our happiness is in them. But
Yeah.
it's like when we built a life for ourselves and we have our own passions, our own friends, our own joy, like we can then we can be more calm in the relationship because we're not looking to the other person to like be everything, be our everything. Like that's just not a healthy situation.
Yeah.
So I think that helps with the going from like that toxic energy situation to like getting used to that calm relationship
Yeah.
that we were talking about before.
Yeah. And knowing like it's okay, even like the quietness. I don't know if you've had that yet,
Yeah.
of like being okay with like just being together, like being still. Like there's,
Mm,
I know before it was like I would be like, okay, is he quiet because he's mad at me? Like I'm like what is he thinking about? Like it's like you're good. Like there's nothing, like there's nothing happening, you know. So it's just like being at ease, you know, in the relationship. I think that comes from them showing that consistency. At least like that's how it's been for me, and me trying to remember like I've done the work, so now it's like putting that into practice and also understanding that I've never been here before, so to have a little grace with myself. When I do maybe have those moments that I do feel anxious and I say something that I'm like, why did I say that? You know, because I still have moments, you know, that are just because, again, like you've experienced stuff, but you're also allowing this person now to help you, like to be vulnerable, and it's like safe, you know, like they're not going to use it against you. Like if you get emotional, they're not going to make fun of you because of that. It's like no, they want to be there for you. They want to comfort you, you know. So I think that level, and I remember my mentor was like, a big part of you healing now in this relationship is that you have to be vulnerable, and you have to be vulnerable enough to be okay with getting hurt. And that, because there's no guarantee, like there's no guarantee, right? Like even in this relationship, I'm happy, I, you know, feel great in this relationship, and I hope, right? But it's like you being okay with like, and it could not work out, but you're still going to be okay. Versus in the past, you felt like, oh my God, if it just doesn't work out, like, who am I? Like, my life's over. It's like, no, you're gonna, right, do your best for it to work out, but ultimately it's still a choice and it's still a decision. So they have to continuously show that, right? But that's a different feeling, you know, because I'm like, that's true. Like, I will be okay, you know, and I want this to work out, but ultimately, like, we're working on this together, you know, for both of us to end up there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's interesting like the direction we're going because I literally just told my boyfriend the other day, I'm like, I'm getting used to being calm with you because in the past it was such a turmoil. It was always such turmoil that like there was so much like anxiety, or like if I voiced a concern, it was like then something's wrong like for a while, or like this person's shutting me out now because I'm expressing my feelings, and it was always like something was wrong all the time. And I was like, with you it's calm, and we can just if we communicate something that's uncomfortable, the next like it's fine, it's good, like this is like a healthy thing. And so I'm getting used to just being calm and not having these like super highs and super lows. And yeah, when we have our time apart, like everything's good and it's like everything's cool, and it's just like a calming, but it takes time to get used to that. Like I know
Yes.
it'll take even, I don't know how long it'll take me to get used to that, but it's a big difference. It's a really good sign, but it's like that emotional like trauma from our past
Yeah.
is still like in our body, like trying to get worked up over something that's not actually happening.
Yeah. And it's just consistency that's going to help in
Yeah.
time. Like
Right.
in the beginning, I
Exactly.
kind of felt like, I'm like, oh my God, I like hate this feeling that I feel of like still a little anxiety. And so, because, we hear, right? Like, it's like, okay, if it's like from God, it's all peace. But yes, with some things, but there are some things that when they're new, they're going to feel uncomfortable. Like they're going to feel
Because
weird
you don't
because you
know this
don't
person
know.
fully. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're trying to trust, you're trying to like vet them, which is healthy. Like dating is vetting,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So it's like that also sitting with yourself to be like, this doesn't mean that it's bad just because I feel these things. It's because that's what I'm used to. So I have to, with time, see this person and give this person a chance to show me that they are who they are,
Yeah.
But I have to be willing to risk getting hurt, and I have to be willing to not know all the answers, or to not be able to control everything, because we talked about this. We're both kind of like that with certain things that we like to like lead or control, and like stepping back and being like, God, I'm doing my part. I'm going to continue praying and trusting you, and like trusting that this is what you've, called for us to do and be. But ultimately, like, there's a part of it that you have to like let go. And I feel like that part is like freeing, because then you're like, I'm going to be the best partner, and like I'm going to show up my best, and that's enough. Like I'll continue to hope that it will continue this way. And ultimately, like it's like I feel like good relationships take time, to build. You're still learning things. You're still learning things about each other, and I think that's also normal. It's going to take a little bit of time for you to like get used to them, start learning like what are their triggers, what are your triggers. So I feel like I'm still in that stage too, of like getting to know each other more and like understanding each other.
Yep. Yeah. And before we close, I think like ultimately it is a really good sign though when we are able to let go and like relax, and like you said in early in the episode, like being our feminine, because this is the first time with a man that I've been, and I've said this to my boyfriend, like I'm like, I feel like I can just relax with you. Like I feel like I can trust you. And again, there's always a risk that like it could not work out, but like I have God, and like God will never leave me nor forsake me. Like he's got me through very difficult things in my past. Like I would be okay if it didn't work out. But at the same time, like I am trusting this process and this like timeline. I'm trusting this man. And I'm not feeling like I need to jump in the driver's seat with things. And it sounds like it's the same for you, where I think that's a good sign where we can like rest and we can trust the process, and like our body is feeling that rest. And of course there's like the little times where like anxiousness comes up. But like overall, when we can sit back and trust, I think that's a really good sign of like a healthy situation and a good man that is being intentional, that is emotionally available, that's communicating with you, that's consistent. That makes all the difference when we can switch from that like anxious attachment to secure.
Yes, it sounds like they're doing a pretty good job, because I do think that that's a huge part too. Is like them being good men, and I think when you come from things that have hurt you, you maybe don't believe that there are good men out there, but there are, and there's someone that like that you would be such a good match with, and I feel like that is something that's also been helpful, to be like, there are good men, and like I'm glad that it came unexpectedly, like my relationship, but I'm so glad, because now I'm like, I feel better because of it.
Yes. And I'm so happy you brought that up because I want to leave people with this, like just what Liz just said. I would never, like when I was single and just in general, like I'm always going to believe this. Don't ever fall into the trap that there are not enough good men out there. There's no good men out there. All the good men are married. That is a lie from the enemy, and do not partner with that. Um, Liz and I were just talking about this episode with Jackie Hill Perry and her husband, and um, he talked about how like a lot of single women are talk about like all the good men are married, all the good men are taken, but he's like actually those men became the men they were when they met a good woman. And yes, these men were good men before, but like there's something about when a man comes together with a good woman of a woman of value
Yeah.
that like they level up, and we level up with a good man as well. Like I can already feel myself like leveling up in certain areas just being around this man, my boyfriend. But like we need to not fall into that trap. There are plenty of good men out there, and even if you have to say that to yourself, like there are great men around me, like there are men of God in my community, like God is bringing me a great man that is like worthy of my love, and that will treat me great. Like even if we have to like say those affirmations, that's really important because there's going to be a lot of negative voices out there. There was quite a few people around me that would always say that like there's not enough good men, dating sucks, there's like they're all like cheat, or like they're all, you know, like people get in that negative mindset. Do not let yourself go there.
Yeah.
And just hold on because God is going to send you someone at the right time that's going to treat you great.
Yeah, and I think that's the part of it too. It's like we're all a work in progress, and giving them a chance to also grow. Because all the men that I also
Yes.
know in my life, like they've taken some time to get there. So it's like having that patience and also understanding that you're not that perfect either. Like you still have areas to grow. You know, and I think that
Exactly.
mindset of always being open, like to learn and grow with someone is so key. Even as I know that a lot of people listening to your podcast, like they're amazing women, and they're amazing high achieving or probably solo women that have built stuff for themselves, you know? So that can be sometimes hard because you're like, I've done all this work. And it's like, yes, but as long as they're willing to do the work and you see that they're showing that in their life consistently, that's like a green flag and like a good sign that you're with a good man, you know, that he's
Yes.
going to level up, you know?
Yes, I love that. And is there anything else you feel led to share before we close?
Something that I think with my toxic relationship, I feel like in the beginning, it made me believe that like I wasn't worthy of healthy love and I wasn't, you know, able to, you know, and I think that I just want someone to know and be encouraged that like no matter what you have gone through, like in your life or like the past traumas that you have, like there is someone that your story is not too bad for, you know, and I think sometimes the enemy lies to us to let us know, like, you know, like we're so much better, like by ourselves because like what we've been through, or like we don't want to go through that again or risk to get hurt again. But that also not being willing to risk also withholds the love that you can have. And I think a huge part of my own journey this year and like self development for me is like, I'm so glad that I took the risk and I didn't allow like the negativity or my shame from my past, or like, you know, it's going to be too much for him, or like, oh, he's not going to want to deal with all this stuff that I've gone through. It's like, no, it's like there's someone that sees you in the way that God sees you in such a loving way. And that has also helped me to understand God's love for me, that he wants good things for us. He wants us to be in healthy relationships and to be loved. And, you know, it's a different kind of love that you experience with a partner, you know? And so I just want to encourage someone to like give yourself a chance to believe and hope again, you know, and maybe you've been hurt consistently and you just kind of want to like close off to everything, you know, but then you might be missing out on just what you need to heal, you know, to help you show you that there is someone out there for you.
Amen. I love that. Ugh, whoever that was for someone. out there. So thank you so much, Liz, for sharing. And I love you, friend.
Yes, I love
I'm
you
very
too.
I'm blessed to have you in my life, and I know that people listening to this will be blessed as well. And I always love chatting with you, even on our when we're not recording episodes. It sounds like episodes. Every one of our conversations sounds like a recording.
It's just a podcaster in us. But I'm so
Yeah, yeah.
honestly genuinely happy for you in this season. And I
Mm,
can't wait to see like what comes out of it. And just this new era of you. So excited to be along this journey with you.
thank you, and same to you. I'm so happy for you and the rebrand and everything. And can you just let us know, where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can follow us at She Cultivates ORL, and our podcast, She Cultivates, which is all about personal growth, mindset, cultivating your best self in all the kinds of ways. And then my personal Instagram is at Elizabeth Sabby. And yeah, I'm always open to chat.
Awesome. Thank you, Liz. Yeah, everyone go give her a follow, and make sure, if you don't already, to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and we're on YouTube. You can watch everything there. And if you listen on Apple or Spotify, make sure to rate the show, write a review. That's how we grow. That's how we reach more people. All right. Thank you guys. Love you. And we'll see you next time.